Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for stopping by. Tonight we're going to be talking about season 3, episode 10 of Ready to Love. When the episode starts out, there is a bit of a somber moment. This episode is pretty heavy, so we're just going to jump right into it. In the beginning of the episode, you see Jay and Joy sitting around a fire, and they're kind of flirting with each other, leaning in. Their connections getting stronger and stronger each and every episode. You can definitely feel the chemistry and the vibes between the two of them. And, Joy is just letting him know, you're just a man, honey, a man. And she's giving him all these compliments, and then she leans in for a little kiss, and they're just vibing, just like every other episode, but now it's getting a little bit, they're getting a little bit closer. And then we go over to Calfani and Denise, and this is where things get interesting. So Calfani and Denise are having a conversation, and Denise let Calfani know, you're in my top, and you're the person who's always on my radar. And then she asked, am I on yours? And is the feeling mutual? And so Calfani just basically let her know, hey, I'm just gonna have to keep it real. It's Adriana. At first I felt like you were the top runner for me, but now it's Adriana, and that's just where I am with it. So she was like, I'm not afraid of a fight, and I'm very confident in who I am, and I know what I want. But in the back of her mind, she was thinking two can play that game. And I was like, no, Denise, do not do that. This is not the kind of man that you need to be playing games. Basically, you're too old to be playing games anywhere you go. So just stop, take a deep breath, and in that moment, she should have communicated to him and said, hey, if you're not feeling me, then do I need to bow out gracefully, or, am I wasting my time constantly pursuing you? Because at this point, I feel like I'm chasing you. And if the chase ain't mutual, you need to change directions, Denise. That's just what it is. You constantly go to this man and tell him that he is the one for you, but then every time you ask him, he's telling you it's Adriana. And Adriana don't even want him. But he can't pick up on the clues because Adriana don't want nobody. She don't want Rashid, and she don't want him. All she want to do is sing her little song and get her exposure, go to the studio and drop some beats. She don't care nothing about either one of them. But you should have just let him play that game. Play the game until the end. See how things pan out. But instead, she started calculating ways in her mind to get revenge on him, basically saying that Adriana was the one for him. After that, this is when the episode starts to get a little bit heavy. You see production walking down the hallway with Jay, and he says that he got a knock on the door, and he went to go see Joy, and she was visibly distraught, and she let him know that, her sister had passed away. He goes to meet with nephew Tommy, and both of the men were emotional in this scene, and he let him know that when his dad passed away, that he felt like he didn't know how he was going to make it through. And sometimes, people don't actually need you to do anything. They just need you to be present. So Jay took that advice, and you see him and Joy walking toward the exit because she's going to leave and go home and be with her family. And she just broke down. She was so upset, screaming, saying, she doesn't know how she's going to do it. It doesn't seem real. And I can only imagine her pain. So before we go any further, I just want to say to you, Joy, my sincere condolences. Our prayers and thoughts go out to you and your family. I hope you are now dealing a little bit better with it, and know that your sister is in a better place, and God will get you through it. Her and Jay share that moment, and then they share a hug before she gets in the cab and she leaves. After that, the entire cast is called down by nephew Tommy, and he lets them know, ordinarily I'm calling you here because there's something that I want you to do, or there's something that I want to tell you, but these circumstances are a bit different. And I just wanted to let you guys know that Joy is no longer here. Her sister passed away, and everybody's face completely lost color. Everybody immediately got emotional. And, he just let them know that you could be here and gone tomorrow. That's how short life is. So we're not going to be doing any specific task. We're not going to be going through anything today. I just want you guys to be here for each other. I want you to comfort each other, hold each other up. And if there's anything that you need, you guys need to work through it. Today is all about you. So figure out what it is that you need, and I will talk to you guys later. Everybody kind of starts to hug each other and just console each other. And you see everybody separate off. And then we see Winter and Denise walking arm in arm, and they're talking about it. And everyone's giving their heartfelt condolences in their confessionals. You know, nephew Tommy lets Joy know that she was a pleasure. She has a beautiful spirit, and he's praying for her. Adriana says some kind words as well. So does Rashid, Edwin, and just basically everybody. The cast has become a family. They've been in this bubble. They were actually taping during COVID. So the fact that they were basically all quarantined together, it made them that much closer. So everybody shared those kind words for her. Then we see Winter go off and sit with Edwin. They have a few words, and Edwin's just letting her know that, you know, he is indeed a bit upset, and it's just so much emotion that's going on at the moment. But Winter just wanted to check in and make sure that he was okay. You know, Winter, she's a nurturer, so she's just trying to check on everybody and make sure that they're fine. Calfani and Denise meet up yet again, and then this is where Denise goes totally wrong. Okay, she shoots herself in the foot. She thought she was playing the game correctly, but she was not. So Calfani comes down and he's talking to her, and then she's like, you know, I've been thinking and I'm in love with Anthony. First of all, girl, okay, why would you use the word love? People use the word love so loosely. It's like they just pass it out. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. Do you know what love entails? To say you love somebody is a very strong thing. And as she was telling Calfani this, he wasn't even buying it. She was not convincing at all. And he's just sitting there looking like, thank God you gave me an out. So she's like, well, we got to break up. And he's like, break up? Girl, I was never even with you. And that made her sound real crazy. Because the fact that she said it kind of cute, like, in, you know, in a funny way, but Calfani, his sense of humor is not there, so he didn't find it cute and he didn't find it funny. He found it strange, and now he's finding you strange. So in his confessional, he's just like, break up. I mean, we were never together, but thank you for giving me my out. Thank you for giving me my great escape. And she's just there like, well, I thought he was going to maybe fight for me when I said I was in love with Anthony and that I wished the best for him, but he didn't fight for me at all. No, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would he fight for you when you are not on a show where you're supposed to be playing games? You're there for love. So love is about transparency. So in that moment, you should have been transparent and said to him, hey, you know, I felt some kind of way when you told me that Adriana was in your top. I feel like I'm wasting my time. So I'm going to go over here and see what's popping. And then if I want to come back over here, I will. But I'm not going to continue to put all of my energy and all of my eggs in one basket. That's what you should have done. Then you would have left him guessing. But instead, you played this stupid game. All right, here we go. So Calfani's looking at her like she's crazy and she thinks she's doing something and she's really not. And then we go to the next day where we see Jay sitting out by the water, and Winter comes and does a little visit with Jay, and she asks, you know, what's the suit all about? And he's like, well, you know, this is my happy place. When I'm wearing my suit, sitting out by the lake, you know, it makes me feel good. And then they sit down, they have a talk, and he lets her know, you know, I'm going to have to go because I need to be there for Joy. And I mean, their connection is so strong. It's basically a gravitational pull at this point. It's like pulling him. He can't even bear to be there any longer because she's gone. So he's like, I need to go. I need to be a support. His whole mood has changed. And, you know, now she's mourning. They were just, you know, almost a couple. He was going after the girl of his dreams just hours before. And now everything has shifted. So all he can think about is just being there for Joy. And he lets Winter know that he's going to be leaving because he wants to go and be there for her. She understands, and she knew last episode when he kissed her on her cheek that was done. So she had started forming more of a relationship or whatever you want to call it with Anthony. And so she said to him, I totally understand. And he goes in, he lets the rest of the castmates know that he's going to be leaving. They say their goodbyes, and they start doing like little flashes and little flashbacks of Jay and Joy together. And now, he's gone. Everybody convenes with nephew Tommy, and it's a little bit different because normally they meet separately, the guys and then the girls. But this time around, they all met together, and nephew Tommy asked them if they had anything to say, and Edwin said that he had something he wanted to share. Now, I kind of felt in my heart of hearts that Edwin was going home this episode had it panned out normally, but Edwin let the group know that, after Joy left, he just realized that there is some work that he needs to do, and he can appreciate the time that he got to spend with her, and he doesn't feel like love is in this space for him or at this place, and there is nobody really here for him. So he's going to just bow out gracefully, and he's going to be leaving. And nephew Tommy let him know that although you didn't find love here, you did find yourself. And sometimes that's better than love, because loving yourself first is really what matters, and he needs to go home and do some work on himself as well. So Joy's top 2 contenders are now gone. And at this point, they're dropping like flies, honey. Joy left, and now everybody want to jump ship. Everyone was like, let me go. But I already knew that Edwin was going to go regardless. So it's kind of okay that he decided to eliminate himself. Then nephew Tommy lets them know, these entanglements that y'all got going on, y'all got to untangle yourself, okay? You entangled all up. You need to get to know what it is that you really want to do. So at this point, there are like a few love triangles where there are actually 3, or are there 2? I don't know, child. But Calfani and Anthony sneak off, and they're having a conversation. And you know what? Quiet as it's kept, I feel like Calfani kind of did feel away, because he sits down with Anthony and he starts talking to Anthony. And he said, well, I had a conversation with Denise, because Anthony's telling him, Denise was in both of our tops. And so Calfani was like, well, Denise she broke up with me. And Anthony was like, broke up with you? How can you break up with somebody you ain't even with? And they both think she crazy, because that was crazy. So they're talking about that, and then Calfani drops a bomb, and he says, she said she was in love with you. And Anthony was like, love? And I know that must have had made his stomach sink, because he just told Winter last episode that he's never even been in love. So the fact that Denise is going around saying she's in love with him probably raises huge red flags. And he's already thinking to himself, so because Calfani basically did the Heisman on you, now you want to come over here, and now all of a sudden you're in love with me? When did that happen? Then we see Denise and Winter sit down at the bar, and they're talking to each other, and Winter says, it was Jay and Anthony as my top 2. And then Denise says, well, it's always been Calfani and Anthony in my top 2. Winter is sitting there looking at her like, girl, don't try it, okay? I already lost Jay. I'm not going to lose Anthony too. So then Denise says, but I had to break up with Calfani. And I'm like, girl, please stop saying you had to break up with. That sounds crazy. Stop saying that. That sounds, y'all, nobody here is in a relationship. The closest thing to a relationship was Jay and Joy. Y'all are not in a relationship, so stop telling people you broke up with him. It makes you sound foolish. So she's telling that to Winter, and Winter, as everyone else is she can see straight through it. And so in her little confessional part, she says, I definitely feel like it's less about love and more about her feelings at this point. Calfani hurt her feelings, and so she wanted to hurt his. And so she told him that she loved Anthony when she really didn't. And that's a dangerous game to play, because, you can't just be throwing around the word love and you don't really mean it. So Winter doubles back to Anthony just to make sure her place is solidified, just trying to make sure everything's on the up and up, and they have a little bit of a conversation. And Anthony, lets her know, I feel the same way about you. You definitely don't have anything to worry about. I'm definitely feeling you, especially after the date that we had last week. You are definitely all the way in my top. Of course, Winter loves that. And they share a little bit of a kiss. And then we pan over to Adriana. and Rashid, and they're playing Jenga. So, you know, Adriana's personality is like as flat as a rock, child. I know y'all think I'm always on Adriana and I don't like her or whatever, but it's just that I can just see straight through her. And I know, and I feel like Rashid is such a good guy, and you are just wasting his time smiling and batting them eyes and going on. But you know, you don't really care nothing about him. So it's really making me mad. Okay. And Rashid, I'm in Houston. So, I mean, if you ain't doing it, no, I'm just kidding. But I am in Houston. That was serious. So Adriana and Rashid are playing Jenga, and she pulls one and it tells her to make an animal noise, and so she makes the noise of a cat. Okay, flat as a rock, like I said. Personality is dry as can be. Then he pulls one of the Jenga blocks, and there's things that are written on them, and so he says, okay, this is a truth moment, and then he asks her, you know, am I in your top? She starts talking around in a circle. You know, the roles are reversed in their situationship. It's like she's the dude and he's the girl. He's so forthcoming with his feelings, and she's so beating around the bush trying to make sure, you know, she keeps him there. She don't want nobody else to have him, but she don't know if she really want him. So she's telling him, you know, I'm just at this point trying to figure out who I can see myself with long term and blah, 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 blah. Because I kind of tune her out when she gets to talking. Then he pulls another block and they have another one of these awkward kisses where he wants to continue to kiss forever and she pulls away. And it makes him seem kind of thirsty. Like, Rashid, listen, you're a well-dressed man, tall man, handsome, career-driven. Adriana, at this point, is kind of acting, you know, she's a kid. Okay, so don't always be letting her pull away from your kisses, bro. Stop all these awkward kisses. Don't kiss no more. Don't kiss no more, because Adriana don't be wanting to be kissing. So don't kiss. Because every time you do that, it's awkward. It's awkward to watch. It's awkward for the viewers, okay? So then Anthony and Denise, they sit down and they have a little bit of a talk. And I was kind of confused about this scene because I think it's this jacket that Denise keep putting on every 5 seconds. Denise, stop putting on that striped jacket because you confusing me. You had that striped jacket on 2 or 3 clips back, and so I'm kind of confused as how everything is going. But anyway, that was just, she sidetracked me with that one. So she sits down, she's talking to Anthony, and then, you know, he's looking like, okay, come on, feed me the lies. And then she's like, yeah, you know, I'm falling for you. I'm FALLING. And he's like, girl, please. It is no way that you are falling for me. You are just trying to secure your spot so that you do not go home. He can see straight through it. Calfani can see straight through it. She ain't playing nobody but herself. And that's just what it is. Like I said, you should have just been upfront and honest and said exactly what it was. Then they all reconvene and they meet with Nephew Tommy yet again. And he lets them know that their families will be meeting their potential spouses. So, you know, everybody's like, oh my gosh, you know, not the family. And so Denise is all on cloud 9 because she thinks she's being strategic and she thinks she's played chess, not checkers. But in fact, she's just digging herself in a hole and shooting herself in the foot. Anthony pulls Denise to the side when they step out and he has a talk with her. And he lets her know that, you know, since we're supposed to be untangling ourselves from our entanglement, I just want to say that I had a conversation with Calfani, and he let me know that, you know, you had some feelings for me, but I'm going to be going with Winter on this one, and I kind of feel like, you know, our connection is not there. And he's like, and Calfani feels the same. First of all, and she was like, well, he can tell me that himself. And I felt her on that because, Anthony, listen here. You just started popping these last few episodes. I mean, basically, everybody right now is in a relationship by default, okay? If this would not have happened with Joy in the program and would have had its natural progression, you would be at the house. Let's just keep it real. Don't try to dismiss her for another man. Don't do that. So we see Calfani sitting over in the cut and he kind of looking at Denise and Anthony have this conversation. And I actually feel like if Anthony wouldn't have pulled her to the side, she may have had another chance with Calfani. But he spoke his piece and he said what he had to say and tried to speak for another man, which was all the way crazy. And so Calfani comes over, and Anthony goes over to Winter and lets her know, I just let Denise down, and I just let her know that I'm gonna be rocking with you. Calfani comes over, and then he has a conversation with Denise, and he's like, since you broke up with me, which is code for thank you for giving me an escape. Since you broke up with me and you told me that you were going to be pursuing Anthony and that you loved Anthony, then I decided that I'm just going to focus all my attention on Adriana or Adriana or however you want to pronounce her name. Okay. But Denise, this is what happened when you play stupid games. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's just it. You shot yourself in the foot, and you should not have done that. You should have just kept it real. Stop being so panicky. Just let things progress how they're going to progress. So basically, this was kind of like a little self-elimination, because then we see the group sitting there, and then we see Denise walk on by, and she leaves, and she tries to create this I'm not upset, but I mean, as she's walking, I can even see her jaws clenching. Okay, but Denise, you did this to yourself, honey. Should have just kept it real. Well, that's pretty much how this episode panned out. And next episode, we're going to see them meeting the potential families that they could be in-laws with one day. Quite frankly, I feel like this season is not like the other seasons where they actually found someone and then they're going to actually formulate relationships. I feel like at this point, it's just whoever's left, let's just get together. I don't really feel like Winter has a strong connection with Anthony. I feel like that was just a default because things didn't work out with Jay. I don't feel like Calfani and Denise are going to be anything other than what they are. And poor Rashid, he's going to be left out in the cold once she chooses Calfani. But, things could change. She could choose Rashid. I don't know. But if I had to rate this episode, I would give it a 7. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you come back next week so we can talk about Ready to Love and their season finale. I'm going to be sad to see it end, but I cannot wait for the reunion because that's going to be something, okay? As always, I thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because if you have been back for more than one Ready to Love review, then you are now an opinionator and you belong here, girl or guy. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next videos. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.